Super Talk 99.7 WTN. It is 12:36. I am Pamela Furr in for Dan Mandis. And apparently I got the scoop of the year because I have Daphne DeLoren in the studio with us from Channel 4, our wonderful meteorologist that's been doing our weather now for how long? How long have you been here?
I've been in Nashville for 2.5 years.
2.5 years. It just seems like yesterday, quite frankly.
It really does. I can't believe it's been close to 3 years.
Well, you became popular so fast. I mean, that's what we noticed. I mean, you've really ingratiated yourself into the community. You have that spirit about you, whatever it is. And you're beautiful on the outside, but there's something on the inside that I think a lot of people have been now addicted to for 2.5 years.
You're too kind. Thank you.
Why are you leaving?
Gosh, there's multiple things here. So as you know, when I first moved to Nashville, or you may know, I had a very different family life. I was single. I was actually going through a breakup.
Let's see, I did not know that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So there was like a lot of life changes at the time. And at the time, you know, weather still is my passion, but I have been in this mode of being okay with evolving. Mm-hmm. And now that I have a family and a baby and a husband, these hours are wild.
Yes.
And people at home don't really realize what time we wake up, what time we go to bed, and just realizing, one, these hours are not sustainable, and two, if anyone knows about my daily drop of sunshine, which I started about, I think, just after I came back from maternity leave, that's actually something that's been on my heart for a couple of years now. Mm-hmm. And I didn't know, like, how to really go about it, what to do with it. But I started this daily drop of sunshine, which is about truth, love, becoming the best version of yourself. And I would give my daily drop of sunshine every day before the forecast, give them a little tease to the forecast, and then start at 4 a.m. And then that just started like taking over my mind, my heart, even more than the weather.
And that's on social media that you're doing that, correct?
Yes, yeah, so I started it on my Instagram story. It kind of sounds funny. Like every day at 2 a.m., I would get done with the forecast, and whatever I felt that day, whether it was just a situation in the moment, something I felt in the shower, like a podcast I listened to, I'd be like, whoa, that's good. I feel like maybe somebody could use this and I could help somebody, and just overcoming fear and having the courage, like if people judged me or whatever that was, being okay with that, knowing my true self.
Right.
And believing in it truly, and being in the, TV and in the industry, you get a lot of people not agree with you.
Well, see, that's what I was kind of talking about right before you came here, because there's a story that really hit me, and I'm not sure why, but the Detroit meteorologist that took her own life, she has two young children, a husband, and colleagues that loved her, and a community that loved her. But apparently she got bombarded with people saying negative things. Yeah. When you're in the limelight, for whatever reason, people think that they have the freedom to criticize you all the time.
Yeah. And I think also, like, being behind a screen and them not being able to show their face really almost helps them. But here's what I've learned. If somebody, and by the way, if you hear a baby in the background, that's my baby sitting next to me.
Sweet little Noah.
Yeah, he's eating crackers and he seems happy right now. But if you hear a little that's him. So here's what I've learned. If somebody takes the time to put you down, if there's anything besides love, they are dealing with something tremendously inside, because nobody whole, nobody full will take the time to tear somebody else down.
Right. That is so true.
Yeah,
so true.
I wasn't born with this knowledge.
No, you had to go through pain to get there.
Tremendous pain, especially when I first moved to Nashville. And it was something I was not mentally prepared for, because let me tell you something. When I moved and I had my first job in Michigan, I was so green and I was so overwhelmed with love. And they took me in for where I was at. And I was overwhelmed with love there. And so when I thought about Nashville and moving to the South, I thought they were going to love me and embrace me, and I was going to love them, and it was going to be this beautiful thing. but I walked into a really sticky situation.
You did. And it's a situation we have certainly reported here at WTN and talked about. And I don't know that you know this, but I actually worked at Channel 4 for 2 years as an assignment editor. But this was a long time ago. It was 2002 to 2004. But I know some of the people that are involved in a lawsuit. And you walked into that crazy situation that had nothing to do with you.
I just saw a job opening, and I was like, oh, my gosh, this would be amazing.
Yeah. And you got hired.
Yeah.
But viewers sometimes are vicious.
Yeah.
And they blame you.
Yeah. Well, they think, like, you came in, this young little pretty face, and told everybody to get out. And, that was not the case. And so I would never take this back in a million years because it taught me so much about identity. And if your approval can change with man within 24 hours, going from Michigan, being overwhelmed with love, to literally torn apart every day by hundreds of people, you got to have an identity that is, like, secure.
Yes.
And so I have solidified my identity in God because that is never changing, and to lean on his promises and what he says about me so that I'm unshakable.
Yeah, because you're a child of God. Who can take that away from you?
Amen.
Nobody can.
Nobody
can. Well, that's awesome. So now you want to take that. So you felt first of all, you obviously felt a call to be at home with your family. Because if your husband's a musician, and I hear he's an amazing musician.
He really is.
So if your husband's a musician, he's got the nightlife. If you've got what people don't understand, you've more or less have the overnight life because you have to get up that early. Your work hours are 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 o'clock in the morning kind of thing.
Sure.
So that's overnight hours. Were you guys even seeing one another? Barely?
Never.
Yeah.
I mean, it was like
enough to make a baby.
Yeah, like enough to make a baby, and then the baby came, and it was like, peace out.
Right.
And so, like, I come home, he hands me the baby, he has to do his life.
Yeah.
For the day to do my writings.
Yeah, here, get that microphone.
Yeah, I
talk
go for the day as soon as she gets home around 9:30. Like, I'm just pretty much waiting on her to get home.
Yeah.
So I can get to my write or my studio session, and then my evenings and nights I pretty much have had to, like, not do unless I'm working from home.
Right.
So she can go to bed so we don't have to get daycare.
Right, because that's expensive too.
Oh,
yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it is a struggle. So obviously you felt convicted. You know what? We need to relook at this and see how we need to change this family situation here.
Yeah, and so, within all of this, I also developed, like, a little bit of insomnia. And so, like, I would go to work, I would sleep 1 or 2 hours, put makeup on and go to work and just be exhausted. So by the time I would get home, it, like, took so much energy to even just stay awake with Noah. And then I felt this mom conviction of, like, shoot, I'm losing time, and I don't put him to bed. I don't wake up with him. I crave just catching up with my husband over a glass of wine at night. Mm-hmm. And we don't see each other. So what is life about? Like, is it work first or is it family first? And can you choose that? And so often I'm seeing everybody around me count down till Friday, count down till vacation, dreading Monday, count down. So many countdowns. Mm-hmm. Are we created for countdowns, or are we created for so much more to live life abundantly? Because I believe when you're living your purpose, you're so fulfilled and you're living life created to do what you're supposed to do. So it's like not a countdown. If you're counting down, let me tell you, you have to change something. And life is too short.
Yeah, because those countdowns are going to go by very, very, very quickly, and you have done nothing but focus on the countdown.
Right, yeah. But I also believe, like, there's so many unwritten rules from society that, like, you have to do this hustle, go, and you need to work your brains out and, save up for school, and then once you get to school, like, work so hard and then have a job, and then, like, save up all this money for retirement and then, get sick and die.
Right.
I hate to be, like, really...
Sounds like a horrible life.
But, like, think about how many people actually go through that.
Right.
So now my mission is to figure out how to not do that and then teach people,
how to not do that.
Yeah, because, God created you to live life abundantly. And when you're living your purpose, that's the key. Your purpose, not what you want to do for approval of other people or for you. You know, there's so many things that go into it that are distracting, like whether you need your father's approval, like deep stuff, you know, whether you're bullied when you're a kid or all these things that like you strive to become for the approval to make up for something of the past. And then you're like hopping from one career to another to fulfill this thing when you just need to figure out what your purpose is and go after that.
What you were created for.
What you were created and wired for. And if that means taking a pay cut or working and flipping burgers, it is worth that.
Well, yes, I agree with you. Look, I was in Atlanta. From a radio standpoint, Atlanta is a top 10 market. That is a big deal.
Yeah, it is.
I was miserable.
Girl.
Miserable. So coming back to Nashville, I don't make nearly what I made in Atlanta, but I'm happier now than I've been in a very, very long time. There's something to be said for that.
That's priceless.
I can't put. I was gonna say I can't put a dollar figure on that.
Sure.
So I'm right there with you.
Right.
Now do you? So from a quote life coach idea of turning your career into that. How do you do that? I'm just going to point blank ask and make money, you know, or how do you do that and monetize? Do you post things on Facebook? People then can start sponsoring what you do. I mean, how you're looking. I'm trying to figure out how you're going to make a living. I'm worried about you.
We're in this together.
Exactly. What can I do to help? Can I send people your way?
Send them my way. Send them my way. You know, I'm in this. First and foremost, I think I'm going to take like a mini reset to just
you probably need
chill
time
out.
Yeah.
Like just sleep, girl. Yeah. Just sleep, take a vacation.
Now you'll still post your daily
drop of sunshine.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I plan on starting a podcast.
Beautiful. Good.
Having to do it, so be on the lookout for that. You know, social media stuff, and then
we'll see.
Yeah, we're gonna see. But I'm gonna put my whole heart into this.
Sure.
And it's so exciting because here's what I know. I am so willing to do this for free that I know that's what I'm supposed to do right now. And I don't know exactly what the money situation is going to look like, and I'm trusting in God with all of my heart with that. But I think like the foundation of it, knowing like this is where my heart is at, and it's not the money first, it's like heart first, purpose first, and then
everything else will fall into place.
Everything else is going to fall into place.
Yeah. I love the works of Tony Robbins.
Oh, yeah.
Do you know Danny Johnson?
I don't.
I need to turn you on to her. She is fantastic. Brene Brown, I love.
Okay, yeah.
Those are some good ones. But if you're going to be in that number, I'm looking forward to saying, your life was changed by Daphne DeLoren. I know her.
Oh,
I know that woman. Well, I mean, it's kind of, I would also think you're excited, but it's got to be a little scary too.
Yeah. And, you know, I think I've gone back and forth so many times. And it was like, yeah, Daphne, you know, we have this initial idea in so many different aspects of life. Like we get this really good idea. And then the moment you have this idea, all of a sudden your mind is flooded with all these ideas telling you why you shouldn't or why you can't, why you're not good enough, how people are going to judge you, how can you start from the bottom, you know. And then all of a sudden...
There's lies you're telling yourself.
Yeah.
They're not true.
They're not true.
Yeah, not true.
And so to put your finger on it and to know this is a lie, that can potentially cost me my purpose.
Mm-hmm.
And to know that, and I think it's as particularly important every day when you wake up, those thoughts are going to flood your mind.
Mm-hmm.
And to say, okay, I just had this positive thought. Am I going to allow this negative thought and this lie, which is fearful lies that are coming at me, ruin a really good potential thing?
Right.
And so I had so much fear about leaving the station, about, you know, pursuing this thing that's on my heart. But I had to come to the place where it is worth the risk. And I think the most blissful experiences of life are just on the other side of the biggest climax of fear.
Yes.
And to jump out of the plane and feel that adrenaline and be so I would rather say, I'm so glad I tried and overcame this fear, because that is not a failure in my eyes.
I have told friends for years, the one thing I want on my tombstone, at least she tried.
Yeah.
That's what I want. I've been saying that for years. So I can, my spirit is identifying with that, sister. I can tell you that. I got to take a break here.
Yes.
12:50. I'm Pamela Furr, in for Dan Mandis. We've got Daphne DeLoren in, her beautiful husband, her beautiful baby. It's a beautiful day, drops of sunshine, even though there's rain outside. But we'll continue this conversation in just a moment on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. It is 12:56. I can't see my clock here. Daphne DeLoren in the studio with me. Radio's different than television, isn't it?
It is. Even just the headset, the microphone. I was trying to do a mic check, and my husband helped me put on the mic. But I love this.
Yeah, so when you start doing podcasts, this is the setup, kind of the setup that you'll have. So,
sure.
So I hope I'm teaching you well.
You are. I am ready to go. We have a little studio actually in the house upstairs.
Well, of course, he's a musician. Of course he does. Excellent. All right, now, so here's my question for you.
Yes.
As you are starting to transition out of your TV gig, are you addicted to weather? Like, will you still look at the forecast the first thing you do when you wake up?
Yes, I will. I definitely will, because weather is my passion. And it's funny because I work my whole life. This is all I've ever known is weather and broadcasting. That's all I know. So, like, stepping away from that, it almost feels a little, like, weird.
Right.
You know?
Oh, yeah.
But, yes, especially when there are severe storms. And I'll probably do a little, Instagram, Facebook, just try.
Okay, guys, we've got, we're under the gun right now. We're under severe thunderstorm warning.
Here we go. Get to your safe place.
Funny. Well, you know what? We've enjoyed our conversation so much with Daphne. She's going to stay a little longer.
Yes.
And we'll probably pick the brain of the two of you. Her husband is here. It's Josh, right? Did I get that right?
Yes.
Good grief, I apologize. And then Noah,
it's Friday.
The baby. Maybe the baby will talk a little bit, but we'll pick some more of the brain. I mean, it is Friday, so who wants to talk politics? Not me. Let's talk
we'll
about
switch gears.
Yeah, exactly, about good things in the world. So stick around. Daphne DeLoren in the studio with us. I'm Pamela Furr in for Dan Mandis on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. It is 1:05. I'm Pamela Furr in for Dan Mandis. Glad to have you. Today, it is Friday, finally Friday, and I know there's a lot of serious stuff going on in the world and things that we'll discuss, things that we've discussed ad nauseum, and I'm sure everybody's kind of sick of it, just like I am. I mean, how many more times can we talk about Donald Trump? Did he know about the hush money? Did he not know about the hush money? How many times can we talk about Michael Cohen, who's now been convicted of crimes, pled guilty to crimes, now being sentenced for his crimes? He's now speaking to ABC. I mean, we can talk about all that, and we will, but isn't it just so much nicer to talk about and talk to a person that so many of you have fallen in love with the last 2 years, and that's Daphne DeLoren, our meteorologist. She just gave the weather, just not even a minute and a half ago.
Multitasking.
What's the weekend looking like, by the way?
So, by the way, it's really rainy Saturday, but Sunday is going to be glorious. It's just so beautiful. Temperatures in the 50s, sunshine, but the showers carry on into tomorrow as well.
Gotcha. All right. Now, so most of our guys here love it when we have soupy days.
Soupy.
When you describe it as a soupy day, everybody loves it.
It's going to be soupy Saturday.
All right. Well, so Daphne DeLoren, if you do not know, she has decided that she is going to leave Channel 4, but she's not leaving Nashville.
I'm not. I don't think we'll ever leave Nashville, to be honest, with my husband and music. And even if he didn't do music, I am in love with this city.
Yeah,
I really am.
It's a great place to live. And it's a great place to raise a child.
Sure. And, not only, I think it's a city that caters to single life, dating life, married life, family life. It caters to every single lifestyle. Because when I moved here, I was, single, going through a breakup. And, there were so many things I could do, even just being single. And, just community with church has been such a blessing too. There's you hear my Noah?
I do.
He's like,
how old is Noah now? He's not a year yet.
No, he's 10 and a half months.
10 and a half months.
And he wants more crackers. Give me all the crackers. Noah.
That is so cute.
Hi, honey. You're doing so good.
He's so cute. We'll have to take a picture. Well, see, now, I don't know. I was going to say we have to take a picture of him, but how private are you about your...
Oh, he's all over.
All over social media? Okay.
I mean, before we had him, I was like, honey, I really don't want to post anything,
And
I knew you did.
Yeah. Like, I really just want to keep this private about us. And all of a sudden, every day.
Well, yeah, it was so...
Yeah, the day after. We were in the hospital room. I didn't even know. And they had pictures of him and, me just giving birth. And I'm like, oh, well, there that goes.
There it is. There goes the privacy right out the window. But you know what? When you're in the media, when you're in television, radio, musician, whatever, when you're in the public life, there's very little that's private.
There's very little that's private. And I think there's such a beautiful thing in sharing your life, even the vulnerable moments. We were actually just talking about this, because that's how people connect to you. And, ever since I was in Michigan, just being okay with sharing things with other people is what has connected me with my viewers to a different level, which I would never change that, because life is about relationships.
It is, and it's also about the idea that you are not alone. Because there are times when we tell ourselves, there's nobody else is going to understand this.
Right.
I'm so embarrassed because I'm going through this, and this, or I don't want people to know that I can't handle this, and this. So you think you're isolated, and the truth of the matter is you're not. And so if you have other people that share their stories, then you feel like, I know, I understand.
I can relate.
Yes.
Yeah. I believe we are called to share our story and, the crappy moments even more, just to share what you are going through, because it's not about you. It's about everybody else. And I think society paints it that it's all about you, when it's really the opposite. And when you find that out, when you learn it's about other people and serving other people, whether it is your story, whatever that is, it feels so good.
Well, there was a counselor one time told me that when you are going through depression, I don't deal with, have a vulnerable moment here. I don't deal with depression. I deal with anxiety. What if, and they'll drive you nuts. But there's the fine line between anxiety and depression. You can cross that line very, very easily. And to stay out of that depressive side of things, a counselor told me this a long time ago. If you would go do something for somebody else, whether it's anonymously or you get involved in a group that helps people, but if you go help someone, that will get you out of yourself, because
natural medication.
Yes, because being depressed is, woe is me. Oh my gosh, I'm so sad because this is happening to me, blah, 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 me. Very I don't mean selfish, but self-centered.
It becomes self-centered.
Yes.
I 100% agree with you.
And so if you're out doing things for other people, it gets you out of thinking about yourself,
right?
And your circumstances, and then you're doing things for a greater good. Then you're not thinking about your circumstances, and that's male, female. It doesn't matter. But when you do something like that, it can act. You're right. Natural medication,
and also giving yourself 2 weeks to cry it out, whatever it is.
Give yourself permission.
If it's a breakup, whatever that is, because in the past, if I went through a breakup, I'd be like, oh my gosh, I'm so strong. And I would, bury it and keep going. And then all of a sudden it would come back.
It would explode.
And I never went through the grieving phase. So to give yourself, okay, Daphne, cry it out for 2 weeks. Every time you think of it, cry. And for me, when I cry, ask God to go to that place in my heart and heal that place. But to allow myself to cry and to allow myself to grieve, what do you do? Do you stay there or do you move on?
Right. And so the way to move on is then to, after you've given yourself some time, then go, okay, now it's time to take the next step. What is that next step?
What am I learning? How am I growing? what is my next
And it's
step?
the same with anger. There's justified anger in the world.
Yeah.
It's okay. For instance, I'm going to just use this family in Detroit of this meteorologist that killed herself. They're grieving right now, but there's going to come a time when they're going to get really angry. They're going to, and it's okay.
Yeah.
And they should embrace that and get really mad.
Yeah.
Really mad that this happened for whatever reason. But you have to go through it. If you bury it, it's going to show up in other areas in your life somewhere.
Sure.
So you have to embrace that.
You have to. And I can't imagine pain to that level. Like, I can't even physically put myself there. But you're so right. You know, and to get that help as soon as possible, because there is help out there. And even just the news of this has raised so much awareness of it in itself, that if somebody is going through this, or even the thought of it, to get help.
Yeah.
Because
to reach out.
Yeah.
To reach out to somebody, even if it's just a coworker, your cousin, your mother, whatever, or to get professional help, or go to your pastor, or whatever the case may be, but say something to somebody.
Sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
You're not meant to go through it alone.
You're not. That's the you are not alone.
You're not.
And if you think you are, that again is one of the lies that you tell yourself, and you have to just kind of stop it. Even if you don't believe it, just say, nope, that's a lie. That's a lie, until you do believe it, until you actually believe it. So you're going to be a life coach. I don't know how we talked about this earlier, but you're going to go through the process of just trying to figure all that out.
And I think
encourage people.
I think it's so important to reset in life, because it's those moments where you're in your quiet place, away from the noise, away from everything, to just get with yourself and just to rest, get your thoughts right, and then create a plan for that. And so I've already started my daily drop of sunshine on Instagram, and I carry that over to Facebook, and even on the air. I don't know if folks listening right now remember, but after my weathercast, I started dropping sunshines. Like, I would have a message, and I would put it there. And so to take that and to take that to a higher level, it's funny. We want to start a podcast. I do one day want to write a book. There's all these goals and things I'm excited about.
Absolutely.
And, even just at home, I was making ornaments, as silly as that sounds, Christmas ornaments for my family. And I was writing on them, and I was like, oh my gosh, like, what if I have a daily drop of sunshine ornament, or almost like a fortune cookie, and I have the message inside the ornament. So we are brainstorming at home.
I think that's a fantastic idea.
Yeah, so everyone can use a drop of sunshine.
Absolutely.
You give them a drop of sunshine, or maybe you need it for yourself, and you have this drop of sunshine, and it could be year-round. You hang it in the car. I don't know.
All right, now, from a wiser, older woman, let me say to you, contact an attorney as soon as you can to trademark that.
We've had a few phone calls already. They're like, Daphne,
excellent.
I have an attorney. You need their number right now.
Good, very, very good.
Yeah.
Well, I love the idea, and I'm really thankful that you made it to Nashville, and that you've made your mark in this community, and that you'll continue to do so.
I am so thankful to be here. I know I was, being in Michigan, I got the phone call from my aunt, and she said, honey, she was in California at the time. She's like, I'm moving to Nashville. Come with me. And I was like, Aunt Donna, you know more than anyone, I'm in a contract. And as you know, in contracts, you can't move around.
Right.
And it dawned on me. I said, oh my gosh, we have a station within the company in Nashville. But what are the odds, one, that they're hiring, and two, they'd even consider me because I'm only 2 years out of college. And so I literally dropped down on my knees and I prayed. I was like, God, if this is your will, open the door, let it be easy. If it's not, slam it shut, because then I don't want it. And so they had been hiring for a year, and I was the first person they flew in, and everything was like clockwork. And so I was like, okay, I meant to be here. And granted, we just talk about, the challenges that came with my initial move to Nashville, but it was such a blessing.
When it's God, yeah. Aren't you as a husband glad she did? Yes. Well, when it is, and we're getting all spiritual here. I'm not going to apologize for that, but I when it's God, the situation for me was I was about to move back to North. I'd moved from Atlanta, where I was miserable, moved back here. Things weren't working out.
Yeah.
I was freelancing, et cetera, et cetera. I had my boxes packed, and the U-Haul was ordered to move back to North Carolina. And I said, okay, Lord, I just, in my heart, I know I'm supposed to be here.
Wow.
You're going to have to show me. And the next day,
he shows you.
Dan Mandis. I had an appointment with Dan Mandis, and he hired me. I mean, the next day.
You just got to ask.
Yes. That's as simple as that.
Yeah.
You just have to ask. And then people will say, well, I don't know if it's God or not because nothing's happening. That's God saying it's not
just
for
chill,
you.
Just wait. Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. So I can absolutely identify with that. When it's God, boy, you know beyond a shadow of a doubt.
So powerful.
Yeah, very much so. All right, so how did you guys meet?
Oh, boy.
Is there a story? What's the story?
I'll let you tell the story, honey.
Well, not long after she started as a new meteorologist on Channel 4, I've always watched 4 since I've lived in Nashville.
Yeah.
I moved here in 2001, and I've always watched that station, NBC station.
Absolutely.
And not long after she was the new girl on there, I was like, who in the heck is this? Whatever that is, that's me. I want that.
He said we had a connection.
Yeah, we had. But
he was one of those creepy guys.
Exactly.
Keep in mind.
But I wasn't going to be one because being in the entertainment industry as well, I knew that was a no. That's how you burn the bridge. Really. So it rocked on for months. And
honey, can I add something really quick?
Please.
My number one rule: they cannot know who I am. They cannot live in the same state as me. They can't know what I do. They can't know my name. Like, I was very...
That's the only way you'd go out with them?
That's the only...
Those are your rules?
How are they going to find me? Yeah.
I mean, I was so adamant about not wanting to meet a guy who knew me on TV.
Yeah.
I just wanted to add that.
Yeah,
So
which is really difficult.
Yeah. He broke the rules.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So it rocked on. I would just joke to friends like, "Oh yeah, maybe I'll see that Daphne out somewhere." And so I was I played for Carly Pierce and on her records and stuff, and we'd play the Opry one night. And went
Every
out to
little
dinner.
thing.
That's me. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And so we went out to dinner after that, and she was like, "Who are you gonna kiss on New Year's? You're single." I was like, "Well, maybe I'll see Daphne out somewhere." And she's like, "Dang it, I'm tired of hearing you talk about this. I don't know her, but let me send her a message on Instagram, and I think it'll validate everything. I'll tell her what a good guy you are, talk you up and everything." And sure enough, like the next day or two, she answered.
Kidding.
And then I played
Instagram
with
message.
and then we're playing the Opry again the following weekend, so that was our first date. I was like,
No
come to the Opry.
Oh my gosh!
So
Now, what
I
a Nashville
remember-
story.
Yeah, right.
Meeting
I
at the
remember
Opry.
I was working the weekend shift, and I had Alan Frio to my side, and I had Joe Dubin. My Joe Dubin. Every time I'm around him, my stomach hurts so bad.
Because you laugh so
I'm
hard.
laughing so hard. So I was
Not
like,
because he makes you puke.
no, right? So I remember getting this message from Carly Pearson. It was just such a sweet, genuine message. And I was like, she has all of these, she knows what it's like, creepy men, you know.
Because she's drop dead gorgeous too.
And I didn't know who she was.
Yeah.
I didn't know about country music.
So you didn't know who she was when she contacted you?
No. I didn't know who Carly Pierce
She
was.
had followers and a blue check. And
I
stuff.
saw
Okay,
the
well, this
blue
girl,
check.
she's legit, I guess.
I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
we have the blue check. She's
So
verified.
she's okay. She's verified.
Yeah, so
kind of like an "Oh brother, where art thou?" You're bona fide.
Yeah,
She's
that's-
verified.
exactly, the blue check. And so it was a sweet message. And so I'm reading her message, and I'm like, Alan, Joe, I'm like, what do you guys think? And Joe Dubin's like, Daphne, have you lost your mind? You're going to go on a date with a viewer? And I was like,
musician?
Yeah.
Well, you asked around and had me verified.
yeah.
Come closer to the microphone.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I
Had you verified?
Oh, exactly,
Yeah, okay.
yeah.
Right. So I wrote her back. I said, I have never done this before, but tell him to not be shy and to reach out to me. And so
Was it the picture?
I stalked.
He's kind
a
of
little.
cute. Yeah.
Instagram stalking.
You got to do the stalking. It's
So-
a thing. It is.
It is a thing. And
Yeah.
so she sends me this message, and she's like, do what you want. Here's his Instagram. Obviously, I'm not going to message him. I'm like super old school. You hold the door. You call me 10 times before I answer.
Right.
And so I see his Instagram name, and it's Dobro Josh. And I'm like, oh my gosh, is he a bro?
See, a frat guy. She had no clue what a dobro was.
I didn't
either.
know what the instrument was. I'm like, this is really interesting.
Okay,
He's
that's
just
funny. He's a bro.
He's
Yeah.
a bro? Oh my goodness. So I go to his Instagram, and he just had such a sweet, genuine smile. And I was just like, you know what? What's a coffee date in public? Why not? Go crazy.
Nice.
So the next day, I can't believe I did this till this day. he was, I guess, on your end, you were going to reach out to me. Mm-hmm. But I followed him just to smile and say, it's okay.
And I'd already gotten the message, so when she started following me, I was like, okay, so I need to reply to her like today.
She's like, I've got your drop of sunshine.
Exactly.
Yeah, she's thinking.
So then what happened, honey?
And then, you were off because you were working the weekend, so you were off on Monday and Tuesday. So I was like, well, I'd love to. Do you want to do coffee, dinner, or a drink?
I mean, he gave me all the options. Like, we can go grab a drink. We can get
married.
Coffee. Yeah. I mean, might as well just go get married. Yeah. And so we met at Frothy Monkey in 12 South.
Can't even tell you how many dates I've had there, first dates.
Yeah.
They didn't end up like yours
did. Then we walked
did.
down and had popsicles at Los Pilates.
Yeah.
I made sure to be a little bit late, though. Like,
of course.
I remember I arrived on time. I was like, okay, Daphne, you need to make a couple of circles because if you're on time, that just looks weird. So I made him wait 5 minutes.
Yeah, and plus, you want to make sure that he matches his pictures, too.
Right.
So you got to be able to look and see him, and then if he doesn't, drive off.
And buys the coffee.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Very important.
I mean, you'd be surprised how many girlfriends I have where they say, and this is a very controversial topic, I'm sure, but they say, he didn't pay for my coffee. And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
That was coffee.
See, if they don't pay for my coffee, you don't get another day.
No.
Yeah, it's done.
And
it's
I know
over.
some people would, disagree with us, but for a man to ask a woman on a date and not buy a coffee, like, come on.
Yeah. I mean, do you have a job?
Yeah, exactly.
I guess that would be my next question.
Right.
All right. So it basically was love at first coffee?
Yeah.
At first latte?
Yeah, and that following weekend, is when we were playing the Opry again, and I was like, okay, this is a great opportunity. She had went to Gatlinburg with some of her girlfriends that week, and so we kind of slowly, started texting each other.
Yeah.
And I was like, perfect, let's go out to... Would you come to the Opry with me? It's
just
my day.
come backstage at the Opry.
Nice.
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 Like, oh my gosh.
And then we went to dinner after that. And,
It wasn't at the backstage at the Opry Grill, was it?
No. It was the actual Opry. It was in the winter.
No, I mean the dinner.
Dinner, no. Where did we go to dinner?
Something, Butcher B?
The Butchertown Hall.
Butchertown Hall, yeah.
Very nice. All right, yeah, he's a keeper. I think you did good.
Yes. It was just easy. It wasn't this crazy, oh my gosh, infatuation. It was like, whoa, like
this feels natural.
This feels natural, and it was like we had known each other for such a long time. Mm-hmm. Like, it's so funny to think the little time we've actually known each other, and I'm like, wow, I feel like we're coming up on our 20-year reunion.
Yeah.
No kidding.
Or anniversary, not reunion. Happy Friday.
And I think the baby agrees with everything you're saying.
Yeah. He's like, give me more crackers.
Well, congratulations, you guys. And now we're kind of running out of time here, so I'm going to have to let you go. I could sit here for another hour. So the next time you want to do Frothy Monkey, give me a call, and we'll sit there and talk for hours.
I would love that.
How's that?
Yes.
All right, it is 1:24. Daphne DeLoren and her husband, Dobro Josh,
Yes.
and then little Noah. And if people want to find you and maybe start getting their drops of sunshine, how do they do that? Just on Instagram, on Facebook, on all that?
Facebook, and then we have, we're working on some things at home, so all of our announcements will be through Instagram, Facebook. Podcast soon coming. I'm super excited about that. So just stay tuned for some exciting announcements, and I'll be able to have more time to do that now.
Very nice. All right. We'll take a break. When we come back, oh no, we have to get into serious stuff of the day, but we will keep you informed on the news and everything that's happening, and that's coming up. I'm Pamela Furr in for Dan Mandis on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.